Left Eye, I've known since I was, I don't know, maybe 12 and a half, 13 years old, you
How
know?
is that possible? Because we only saw her back in like 92, 93 when she came on the scenes with TLC.
Yeah, I knew her before she was in TLC, before she went to Atlanta. Left Eye's from Philly, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, she's from where I'm from. She's from a place called Logan.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
that's where she's
then
from.
by the time she was coming out and stuff, what were you guys doing?
Yeah, well, like I saw, I just to go back a little bit with Left Eye, she was always talented,
Mm,
always talented. She wasn't like a person who just said, "Hey, I want to just jump in the game out of nowhere." She actually was a classical pianist.
left eye.
Yeah, Left Eye. Left Eye could play. And I produce songs and stuff. Left Eye could play piano better than me.
Mm.
Like she could play Mozart and crap like that. Like people who know her know this. She's amazing on the piano. Like crazy
Wow.
good. Yeah. Or why she never really played in the group or played on tour and all. She was like Prince too a lot in a lot of ways because she had so many visions. She had so many visions.
Mm.
So I remember her being interested in. She would come down to Philly International Records. Actually, she would come down there, and we, I'd be. That's how I learned. I knew she could play piano because we had pianos down there in those writing rooms, and she'd get in there. She just happened to bust out and chop it up. But she could make clothing, like she could sew.
Yeah.
She made a lot of those outfits with TLC, all of the image with the condoms in the eye and the
Wow.
big hats and all. That was all like, a lot of stuff to share. I don't know if anyone else helped and contributed, but I know that's what she did. She always made her own clothes. She used to make like satin outfits and everything, so very creative. And then she told me she wanted to go down to Atlanta and start a group. She's like, I
Wow.
want to go down there and get into, I don't know if someone else was already doing a group and then she just jumped in that, but I know that her intentions were to go down there.
And stuff.
And this is the early stages of Atlanta before everybody flocked to Atlanta and all of the, from everywhere. And
Yeah.
not saying it wasn't the early stages of Atlanta to Atlanteans, you know what I mean, to them, because
Yeah. But
they've
it's when
been
it
progressive
transformed
and
into metro city and stuff like that.
right. The influx of, the whole hyper exodus to Atlanta, so that she was down one of the first pioneers. That's why, TLC was in the 90s and,
Mm.
Scrubs and all that stuff. So, I mean, Waterfalls. And so I hadn't seen her since she went down there. So one night at the American Musical, it was the American Music Awards, and it was in Manhattan, and we were at the Motown Cafe, and I ran into her. Like we were on like the top tier, like they had like a
Okay.
balcony you could walk up on. They had seats there too, so we were walking in that, and I ran into her like smack dab, and this had been like years, and she was
Mm.
like, oh, I was wondering when I was gonna run into you out here. And she had, if you remember that night they won big at the American Music Awards for Waterfalls and all that, they had on the Indian fringe, the brown fringe thing. That was like the famous little thing that they had when they did at that night. I don't think they performed that night. So she still had that on, like, when I saw her. And that was an outfit for the night, you know what I mean? They went, and then she had like an entourage, like everybody was behind her though. It was like maybe 20 people or more. Like, so she stopped and she was kind of in the front.
Mm.
And she was like, yo, I was wondering when I was running into you and this and that. And I was like, yo, and then I saw how many people she had with. I was like, word. I was like, listen, I said, she's going this way. I said, look, I'm gonna swing back around and then I'll come down, sit down. But I don't know what happened. I didn't see her see any more that night. But one time I was on one of my Atlanta missions and my guy who knows her cousin too was just like, hey, Lisa and them just got back, So I'm like, really? Okay. So I've never been to her house in Atlanta or anything. I was just like, let's roll through that joint. I didn't know who
Mm.
was there because It could have been one of the. It could have been some dude she was dating there. Anyway, I just like rolled up. So I stayed in my man's car for a sec. You know, I'm outside chilling in the car, and he walks all the way up the driveway. She opens the door. She's like, "Hey, like, what's up?" Then we wound up chilling like for 2 days. Like she took me, my man, her partner. I played her some new music. You know, I played her some stuff she wasn't interested in doing, and we were gonna do. And then she took me out to like see these rock bands she had to look at. Went to like a club, but it was people like it wasn't really like cool. We didn't have security. It wasn't, it wasn't like, people was kind of like, grabbing and I mean, I had turned into like some type of bodyguard down that joint. I'm like, whoa, hold up. That was cool. We did all that. She liked the song that we had, but then the next time I saw her was on a program that we used to have. I don't even know if it's still on anymore, but yeah, it used to be called 106 in Park.
Look and think, well, that's the guy I know from. So how do they go forward like that, or what goes through your mind when you're seeing TLC with your high school friend or your kid friend?
More or less like I kind of always knew Lisa would make it,
Mm.
because I know a lot of people before they became celebrities, so that's like normal to me. So I never really compared it to myself in any contrast. I just my past and my brother's past was ours. My dad's past was his. Ours was ours. Lisa was out there before me. She actually she was out there before us. Yeah.
No, but when you think of it, when you did the
187.
No.
Well, the first one, yeah. But she was around then. She was around then. She was in the studio and stuff when I was doing that album, that first. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, she was around. She was just soaking up a lot of everything all over, and she already had what she was bringing to the table. But I always knew that she had that, that ambition. Lisa always had a drive. She always had an ambition. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to make it. Like, make it. Like, literally, if she wanted clothes, she'd make it. If she wanted, and she always was particularly interested in learning how to dance. And that's when I kind of knew she had the bug of kind of being a performer in the art, because she was always like, come on, work on my dancing skills. Like, she didn't think she was a great like dancer, but she's determined to get all of the tools that she needed. I don't know exactly how she got into TLC, but I know that was like I said, a lot of her vision got to come into fruition, But no, I never really looked at it like, hey, she just came from, because she didn't really come from nowhere. She was around too, Yeah. She had the same influences too, as I did. Like I said, I didn't get to live with my father as much. In the early 90s, we kind of got a little bit back together, to stay a little bit more time. But from like when I was 7 years old, my pop moved to California. Then he moved back, and we'd see him when we see him, but it wasn't like a real training system in the house, like you would say, like a gospel family. Like a lot of the gospel families, like you grow up very disciplined and on the drums or on the keys, and you got to play and like that's what I heard about Jodeci. Like they played in church, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And a lot of our musicians who started off playing in church with their parents. Some of them are what we call PKs, preacher's kids.
Okay.
A lot of them are like some of the best musicians making R&B in the 90s, and a lot of them, so evidently that now we had somewhat of a gospel. My mom taught us, gospel songs, but we didn't grow up in that, church family where like the instruments are for church.
Yeah.
This is for church. Everything's for church. Like we didn't grow up in that, but we grew up going and this and that. experience a few religions. In Philly, you're gonna experience Islam, everything, So, but as far as Lisa is concerned, like I said, I just knew she would have like a few other people. Like I said, I just kind of saw the drive in them, like Eve. You know,
Is she from Philly?
Eve is from Philly. Yeah, Eve's from Philly. She's always a nice person. Always a nice person. To me, I don't know what anybody else got to say, and I haven't heard anything bad about her ever. But to me, she's always been a nice person and deserves like to be where she's at, and always been humble to me.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come. But thanks a lot for watching.